So today I decided to ask ChatGPT for a simple, what I said was I want a simple peach cobbler recipe made with fresh peaches because all these peaches on my peach tree are going fast. They don't last too long and I hate to let them waste, and I love a good peach cobbler. So yesterday I paid for the ChatGPT because it helped me make this really cute logo that I'm going to make a sign for my little chicken coop. And today I thought, well, let me just make as much use as I can from it and see what kind of recipe it gives me. And I was pretty specific. I said I want a simple peach cobbler recipe with few ingredients. And it gave me a recipe. And I printed it out because I'm old school. There's my recipe. It calls for 4 cups of fresh peaches. And there's Riley wanting to come inside. So it calls for 4 cups of fresh peaches. I wasn't sure how many that would be. So I went out and I tried to pick the softest ones because obviously I want to make them last as long as possible. And right now they're just all falling off the trees. The baby cochin chicks are under the peach tree, but they really aren't liking peaches this year. Even our big chickens aren't liking peaches. The rabbits are liking peaches though, so I usually take one of the peaches that fall to the ground and give them each a peach because peach season is very, very short. But so far I'm really amazed by this ChatGPT thing. I'm not used to being too technical, but I did have ChatGPT make me this cute little logo. It's like a cartoon version of me and Riley. I really like that one, but I was only using the free version, and I did make it, ask it to make me a bunch of changes. Not a bunch of changes, but when you get to a certain level, I think I got like six alterations, and it said that's all we can do for you. And then yesterday I wanted it to make me a little So Fun Homestead logo with a cochin chicken in it, and I could have probably done it in my Silhouette studio, but it would have taken hours, and I may have even had to buy some designs to make it happen. And I just asked ChatGPT, I said, hey, can you make me a logo with So Fun Homestead using cochin chickens with feathery feet? And it made me some really cool designs. I'll show you the first ones it made me. And then what I asked him, I said, and I don't know how you're supposed to cut peaches up for cobbler. It's all kind of messy anyway, so just doing the best I can. But I don't know what that is either. So I asked him to make it in a 10.5 by 10.5 design, because the first one they made me was not a round design, and then I asked it to make me a round design, which it did. And when it made me a round design, I asked for one 10.5 by 10.5 because I plan to use it in my Cameo. And it gave me I think a PNG file or SVG. I don't know. I don't speak that stuff. But anyway, I did ask it to give me a file that I could turn into a Silhouette file with my Silhouette software, and it did. And then I asked for a 4x4 because all of my shirts I'm too small for now. And so I bought a bunch of size medium plain t-shirts over the weekend. And I thought, wow, I've got an embroidery machine. If I could turn it into a embroidery file, which my machine, I have a brother, and it uses the PES format. I said, hey, can you make me I thought, well, maybe it could just make me a PES file, and it couldn't, but it did put it in a format and told me about this free software that I could turn it into a PES format. And I thought, okay, that's cool. And I tried it and it didn't work. And then I YouTubed it, and there's a lot more steps than what ChatGPT did, but it did make me the original design. And now all I have to do is figure out how to turn it into the right format to put my embroidery machine. But I thought, oh, I'm going to have a lot more peaches than 4 cups. I thought maybe it would be cool to embroider some shirts with So Fun Homestead on it on the lapel. So I got like a 4-inch round design, and I spent a couple hours YouTubing it and looking at this software, and there's a lot of steps to it. I'll let you know if I get that figured out. But I do know how to use it in my silhouette. So I'm going to cut it out in a removable vinyl and make a stencil and paint a sign to go on my new little chicken coop. And I'll show you that. So what this recipe says to do is 4 cups of peaches peeled and sliced, 1 cup of sugar divided in half for peaches and 1/2 for batter, 1/2 cup or 1 stick of unsalted butter, 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour, 3/4 cup of milk, 1.5 teaspoon of baking powder, a pinch of salt. And then it has the rest of I'll show you the recipe. I'll do a screenshot of it and share that with you. And we'll see how this turns out. Look how quick I can cut 4 cups of peaches. Maybe I should double the recipe. I should ask it to double it for me so I don't have to do the math. I mean, that's what I'm paying it for, right? But I'll let you know what I decide to do. All right, I don't think this is going to be good for my diet, but like I said, peach season is very short. So I don't have a 9x9 baking dish. I think this is like 6x12 or something like that. But I'm supposed to put this in a 375 oven until it melts while I work on the batter. Okay, so the butter's melting, so we're going to work on the batter. So we preheated the oven, we did the peaches. What's our batter say? Whisk together flour, remaining 1/2 cup of sugar, baking powder, salt, milk until smooth. Okay, forgot the sugar. Okay, got the sugar. Let's start with our flour. What does it say? 3/4 cup. 3/4 cup. And I'm not going to sift this because it's flour. And then the remaining sugar. 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. 1/2. Pinch of pink salt. It doesn't say pink salt, but that's the only salt I use. That, and sometimes I use Redmond salt. It didn't call for cinnamon, but I'm wondering if I should add some cinnamon. I'll whisk that. And then it called for 3/4 cup of milk, which hopefully fat-free milk will work all right. I mean, it's just cobbler. How hard can it be? And then it doesn't call for it, but I make my own vanilla extract. Oh, and I put that in everything, so I'm gonna add a little bit of that. It's very lumpy. Maybe I should have whisked it. Let me just double check, make sure I added everything. Yep, I added everything. In a separate bowl, whisk together. Pour batter over melted butter. Do not stir. Spoon in peaches and their juices evenly over the batter. Do not stir. Bake 40 to 45 minutes until golden brown. Oh, it sounds so good. Okay, I did go ahead and whisk more of the lumps out. And I am going to put in just a tad bit of cinnamon. Can't hurt anything. All right. Okay, so here is the melted butter in my pan. Here is the batter. I do see little lumps in there. I hope that doesn't matter. And then I realized I broke my cardinal rule about YouTube. I cannot watch videos that have scraping sounds in them. And I hope that when I was mixing that, it wasn't too scrapey sounding, but if it is, I apologize. So my batter is in there. It says do not stir, so we won't. And then we're gonna pour the peaches over. It says do not stir this either. I hope this makes like the foamy type batter. I don't know if you know what I mean, but there's some cobblers that are like pie crust, and the dough's like a pie crust, which I don't care for that as much as the ones that make like this foamy batter. So maybe that's what all this melted butter is, which, by the way, I did not have unsalted butter. I don't buy unsalted butter. I had salted butter. And what else? Changed something else too. My pan size, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to put that in the oven and we'll see what happens. I wish we had smell-o-vision. This smells so good. I put it in for 41 minutes. It said to do 40 to 45. I don't know if all that juice is going to get absorbed or not. On top, see, oh, that yummy goodness. I think I'm going to pop it in another 2 minutes and see what happens. But it smells so good in my house right now. Okay, I popped it in for another 2 minutes and it just looks perfect. And I think it's going to be the foamy kind of dough that I like. If ChatGPT was a person, I'd kiss him smack on the mouth. So this has been sitting about 30 minutes and all that liquid that was in the center has congealed, and oh my goodness, it's killing me not trying this. But I just spoke to Kenny and I asked him to bring ice cream home, so I will try to wait till he gets home, and I really want to try it with ice cream, but I can already tell it's going to be amazing. Thank you, ChatGPT. Okay, so Kenny came home. He's going back to work, but he brought me ice cream, and we're gonna scoop this up. Yep, that's the kind of crust I was wanting, the foamy kind. And I am having this for dinner. because I'm a grown-up and I can. So, gotta have a little bit of ice cream with it. And that looks beautiful. Yeah, now that's what I'm talking about. Look how good that came out. ChatGPT, you did good. Now we're gonna have the taste test. All right, because I'm a good wife, I'm gonna let him have the first taste.
Very, very good.
All right. It was so easy. ChatGPT did an excellent recipe. All right, I need to try it. That was amazing. It definitely has that foamy kind of crust that I wanted, the foamy cobbler base. I am glad I added the cinnamon and the vanilla. You can definitely tell it was there. But all in all, that was amazing. So I will be posting more things that ChatGPT helps me do. But as far as making the designs that I showed you earlier and now recipes, I am very, very, very impressed. What has ChatGPT helped you do? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for being here.